Last year, I covered a lot of books related to diversity and inclusion. I read 7 books in 7 days. I reviewed 30 books in 30 days. I'm going to tell you what I learned from doing that. I'm Dr. Jonathan. I work with organizations to make them inclusive, and I'm on a mission to help 1 million people like you to make your workplace inclusive. Get your pen and paper ready, because we're talking about what I learned from reviewing 30 books in 30 days. This is related to an overall theme about books in general. We did a show about my love-hate relationship with diversity and inclusion books. We did another show about if you can become a diversity expert by reading 3 books. Here, I want to share some lessons learned. I'm going to talk about the books themselves, what the best books had in common. I'm also going to talk about the people and how I think people responded to the books. Then, I'm going to talk about what I'm doing moving forward to share more books with you. First, let me give you some context. In April 2022, I read 7 books in 7 days. I did a mini review on LinkedIn. All these books were related to inclusion. I had some books lying around. Some of them were from people I knew online. Some were from people I've met in real life. Some were from people who had a book out and I said, I'll just buy it. I realized that I hadn't read any of the books, so I thought it'd be a great idea and a great opportunity for me to read them. I did that, and it was good for me to get through the books and share what I learned. I managed to get through the lot, and I picked up some practical tips, stuff I share with you, stuff I share with my clients. Anyway, I didn't think much of it. Then fast forward to October 2022. I decide to level up. I decide to go a bit further. I decide to review 30 books in 30 days. Instead of writing about it, I decided to make some short videos. I made some 60-second book reviews. To be honest, they weren't really 60 seconds, but they were very short book reviews. As a regular member of our audience, you already know what I covered in the videos. I used our signature 5-step method that I developed during my PhD. The same questions we ask in our book club. 1. Why is the book important? 2. Who is the book for? 3. What are the key messages of the book? 4. What are some key takeaways of the book? And 5. Other considerations. To make it a bit easier on myself, in these 30 days, I chose books that I was reading or had already read. If you want to see all of this in one place, check out my TikTok. But that's the context. So let's talk about what I learned from reading and rereading the books. Here's 5 things that all the best books did well. And when I say best, I mean the books that I thought were the most useful. First, they paid off the title and the subtitle. Now, you would be surprised how often this does not happen. These days, book titles feel like they're all designed for SEO, to be searchable online. It's all search engine optimization. I think of a book title as a promise. The best books deliver on the promises they make in the title. Second, they had one person in mind. Writing a book for everyone is not a good idea. In the book club, we always ask, who is this book for? Now, bear in mind, have you ever noticed that a lot of the books that we cover aren't meant for me? Nearly all the best books I read were not intended for me. Now, that's not a problem. I think it's a good thing. It helps me to understand the book more, not less, because they're clear about the audience. Third is they were well written. Now, I am quite embarrassed that I need to say this. I keep on having to bring this up. One of the reasons I don't like reading diversity, equity, inclusion books is because so many of them are so badly written. And I mean so badly. It's really difficult for me to get through some of them. I don't talk about it here on the show, but in the book club, I do share that. I tell you when a book is really well written, and you know when it's not. So many DEI books are poorly written, and I know that the authors are told to write how they speak, but some people take it too far, and it's as if they've just summarized some voice notes. The best books are authored by skilled writers. Fourth, they focus on a narrow topic or perspective. Diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, all of this stuff is such a wide field. Too many books feel obliged to cover a wide variety of topics. For me, this is dissatisfying because you don't get to learn much. The best books covered limited material. This means they leave a lot out. I think that's good because it means they can write another book. If not, it feels very general. And if it's too general, then why not look on social media? Why not just check out podcasts? I'm very confident that the detail that we provide on this podcast is a lot more detailed than a lot of the books that are out there. Fifth is that they're well researched. I don't mean they've got a PhD. I don't mean they talk about academic research. I mean it's clear that the author has a deep understanding of the topic. I mean that the author understands not only what they think, but they understand other ideas connected to their topic. The best books were not a collection of opinions that belonged to the author. It was someone who had really thought about a concept, really shared what they knew, and gone deep to share their own opinions, and some of these may be controversial. Now, you can tell these are really strong opinions of mine, and they're very unlikely to change. So that's the books themselves. What did people think of all this? Well, I found that people loved it. I got a lot of private messages. Here's 4 things that I noticed. 1, people are forgiving when you're trying. I wanted to review 30 DEI books in 30 days. Diversity, equity, inclusion. These are broad terms. I had plenty of room to play with, but here's the thing. Most of the reviews weren't 60 seconds. 2 of the books weren't even about diversity and inclusion. One was The Peter Principle, which we've covered on the show, and the other one was So Good They Can't Ignore You. This is one of my favorite books ever. This is a book that I gift to people, especially young people at the start of their career when I meet them. No one cared about that because they understood that I was just trying to share what I knew. That's why I'm your number 1 trusted advisor, because I want to share what I know so that it saves you time in the future. 2, the Lindy books were the least popular. Now, I love Lindy books. The name Lindy comes from a famous deli in New York. It's all about comedians. I'm going to do a whole different show on this, but it gave its name to the Lindy effect. The Lindy effect suggests that things that have stood the test of time are more likely to remain valuable in the future. So let's bring this back to books. Lindy books are books that have stood the test of time, so they are more valuable in the future. So I'm not talking about new books, I'm talking about the old books. What I found was that the Lindy books that I reviewed were the least popular. For example, The Souls of Black Folk, Mentoring at Work. These are classic books that I think everyone should read. This fascinated me because so many of the new books, so many of the popular books, in general, they just repeat things that are in the Lindy books, and sometimes they don't do a good job. 3, people broke the second rule of book club. For those of you who have attended the Element of Inclusion book club, the second rule of book club is it's all about the book. Some people made it about the author, some people made it about me. Now, 2 books in particular attracted attention because of the authors. 1 was American Islamophobia. 2 was The Diversity Delusion. Both books that we've covered on this podcast. In both cases, people felt that I was causing harm by purchasing the books and talking about the books. They felt I was contributing to the problem. I disagreed. I think it's smart to engage with a variety of ideas. They didn't agree with what I was doing or the way I was doing it. And this reminded me of why the second rule of book club is so important. And 4, people assume that I endorse the books. I like to think that I can learn something from most books, but I find that some books are a lot more useful than others. There's a lot of books that I read that I don't think are good at all. I've been open about this. This is what I meant earlier. A lot of books in the diversity and inclusion space are really badly written. They're really light on content. They help the author more than they help you. I'm biased and I am prejudiced, just like you. I try to make mine obvious when it comes to the books. I choose books because I think I can learn something from them. Sometimes I don't learn as much as I like, but that's the way it goes. Not everyone recognizes that. So what's coming up next? People loved the 60-second book reviews. People loved the format. They loved the way it was punchy. Instead of doing 30 books in 30 days, in 2023, I'm going to be doing 30 books in 30 weeks. Same thing over a longer period of time. This gives a sense of continuity. This gives people more of what they want. This gives me more room to deliver. Short, punchy reviews that I think you'll like because it's using our signature format. For those of you who want to go deeper, I'm going to pick 10 of these books for us to discuss in our book club every month starting from February. Sign up to our newsletter so you don't miss out on anything. But as always, I'll give a review of the book here every month. But for the reasons I discussed earlier, it won't be as detailed as what we discuss in the book club. For those of you who want to go even deeper, I'm launching something new in 2023. Some people wanted to go further than the 60-second book reviews. Some people wanted to go further than the book club. So in response to popular demand, I'm going to be offering the Element of Inclusion Book Insights. These are detailed breakdowns of books to support you on your inclusion journey. These are based on my personal notes, which I use with clients. These are super practical. On top of our signature 5-step approach, I'm using my 5-4-3-2-1 method to turn all the quotes, stories, and frameworks into something that you can use practically. It's not something you can get anywhere else because it's a lot more than a summary of the books. I'll be drawing on all the insights that you're used to give you something unique, something practical, something relevant that you can use in your organization. Check out the beta page of the website if you're interested. And bear in mind, like I always say, whenever we offer a beta package, if you're interested, always go for it. Always say yes, because the price always goes up. I always reward the people who sign up first. This year, I want to take my mission to help 1 million people like you a lot more seriously. So we're going to be offering you a lot more resources for your inclusion journey. And this is just part of it. So let's wrap this up. What are the key messages here? What did I learn from reviewing 30 books in 30 days? 1. The best books are written for one person with a clear focus that they pay off. 2. People don't always pay attention to the classics, even though the modern books typically copy them. And 3. Some people want to go deeper, and so I'm creating resources to help you. So what do you think? How are you using books on your inclusion journey? Get in touch or leave a message via the link in the show notes. I would love to hear from you. If you've learned something from today's show, then give us a 5-star review and a comment wherever you're listening to the podcast. It helps other people like you to find the show. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.